Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Shanuli Ray, founder and director of PROLEARNZ, the finishing school, and I warmly welcome you all to today's online masterclass, Think in English, Speak with Confidence. At ProLearns, we believe in creating learning spaces that are practical, engaging, and impactful, designed not just to teach skills, but to help you apply them in real life. And today's session is very close to our mission because communication, especially in English, is not just about grammar or vocabulary, it's about confidence, clarity, and connection. This evening, we are truly honored to have with us an exceptional academic leader and trainer, Professor Dr. M. Devendra, PhD, DLit, DSc. Dr. Devendra is the principal and professor at the Oxford College of Hotel Management, Bangalore, affiliated to Bangalore City University, with over 25 years of teaching experience at UG and PG levels. He is a distinguished academician, researcher, and trainer. He has authored more than 20 textbooks, 5 patents, and chaired over 25 national and international conferences. His contributions to hospitality, tourism, language teaching, and academic leadership have earned him multiple awards, including the Best Academician Award, Best Educator Award, Best Principal Award, and the Lifetime Achievement Award. Most recently, he was recognized as the highly qualified Principal of the Year at the Delhi Vidhan Sabha. We are privileged to have such a stalwart guide us today in mastering one of the most sought after skills, thinking in English and speaking with confidence. So, without further ado, let's welcome Professor Dr. Devendra to take us through this 90-minute journey of learning, practice, and transformation. Welcome, sir. Over to you now.
Yeah. Good evening, madam. Thank you for the wonderful introduction which you have given in short and sweet. But as an academician, I always believe that whatever we have, we need to share it. Only when once we share the knowledge grows. If we don't share, the knowledge will not grow. So with this beginning, I would like to start my presentation because normally people wants to speak through oral presentation, but this is actually a visual and oral presentation. Both it is combined since it's an online. And I wanted to speak face to face, but situations made me not to speak that. That's the reason we could not meet offline. So we are on online. So my presentation will be very simple, and I will try to interact with people because the background which madam has introduced, I think I am a polyglot. So let me explore whatever I know. Let me give some kind of a knowledge so that you can enhance and excel in a particular field. And people will generally ask when we talk about the topic what madam gave me. I was not hesitant. I was very comfortable. Why? Because I hold a master degree, 4 master degree in English. It is not holding a 4 master degree in English. How confident you speak in English is very important, both in terms of language as well as literature, because language and literature composites the English language. And whenever I go to any conference or any seminars, the first and foremost thing is after my speech, people come and ask, "What is your mother tongue?" So very important thing is not only communication skills, your thinking and speaking should not have any kind of mother tongue influence. That is very, very important when we speak a particular language. Hope my slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Now, can I go for presentation of the slide or?
Yeah, surely. Most of the participants have joined.
Okay,
We
fine.
can start.
Sure. So to begin with, the title is Think in English, Speak with Confidence. This is the slide which madam has given. So I was not prepared that much, but still, whatever the topics ma'am has given, let me throw an highlight about this. So myself, I have given the title in Think in English and Speak with Confidence. Think in English is very difficult to think. That's the reason I made that in red color. And Speak with Confidence, I made it as a green color. Why? Because always for every hard work, we will have a success in forefront. That success is spoken in the form of green color. That is the reason the title has two colors: Think in English and Speak with Confidence. As Madam clearly told that I've been designated or I am currently associated as principal and professor at Hotel Management and Tourism College, teaching both the undergraduate and postgraduate, involved in various academic and non-academic activities also. Is my screen visible? If I am not visible, please tell me.
No, no, it's absolutely fine. So,
Okay, okay, fine. The objectives of today's 90 minutes or 60 or 30 minutes or whatever the interaction we will see, 90 minutes, as madam has givenly clear the objectives in the poster which was being circulated. Even I have circulated that posters to many of the places. So everybody was asking, what is this? How to think in English? What is it you're talking about? How to think in English? Are we going to speak something when somebody has raised the hand?
yes, any question? Somebody has raised the hand, I think, or I think accidentally.
Okay, fine. Sure. No, no issues. If there is any questions, we'll collect and answer the questions at the later part of the session because I wanted to give as much as I can give in 90 minutes. So that because thinking in English is open like a globe. It is very vast. Let me cover that in 60 minutes and then tell what all things we can cover under this. So today's objectives will cover why we translate in our head, understanding the mindset block, fluency acts, the spontaneous speaking, the confidence and building technique, and daily fluency routine. What are the different things which we do in the routine life? How to think that in the English part of it. So to begin with the introduction, when we talk about how to think in English, normally, to think in English and improve the fluency, immerse yourself in the language by listening to the content and using only the English tools. Because normally, when we talk about any language, immediately the first and foremost, the mistake which is normally done by all the human beings, I don't want to tell only the academicians, all the human beings is they first translate in their mother tongue, whichever the mother tongue is there. So they will equate themselves to the mother tongue and try to bring the relationship with English. Though English is our foreign language, the people don't treat that as foreign language because we are inhaled by the language which we are born, and we started practicing English only at the school age, not at the home age, because at home people only speak their mother tongue. So the first and foremost thing is immerse yourself in English language and visualize the English scenario to build the direct association. Here, when we talk about direct association, the direct association involves two terms. One is word association, the other one is people association. When we talk about the word association, how do you connect by speaking the English language by using the words? How do you connect people? People connecting is by two methods. First is by English word, the second is by body language of the English. The body language of our mother tongue and body language of English is completely different. So what we have to do is break down the translation habit, because when we tell translation habit, normally people tell one whole sentence and try to translate it. You don't try to translate thing. Who understand the whole gist and then try to translate that. Also, when you're translating it, translate in monolingual. Please don't translate bilingual, because our education system, the higher education system, whatever we are teaching at the school level or secondary level or higher education level, all are being taught at the bilingual system. So try to avoid this bilingual system and go for monolingual system, where monolingual system emphasizes more on dictionaries. When we talk about the dictionary, because when we tell an English word, immediately people will translate that to the mother tongue word. So don't translate to the mother tongue word. Rather than that, check see a similar word in the same language, what are the different other things. Because when we tell dictionary, because a person who writes a dictionary is a lexicographer, and a lexicographist always thinks beyond our thinking. Example, now if I tell one word in English, always we equate that to our mother tongue and think it in, and come out with a result telling that this is the meaning of it. Rather than that, go for a thesaurus. Thesaurus includes a multiple meaning of a same language. So always I suggest you to go for a monolingual dictionary, because many people are learning language. When they learn the language, they learn the language through a media. Example, English through Hindi, English through Kannada, or English through a regional language. Rather than that, try to learn English through English. Okay, gradually build up the sentences from simple words to complex word. Now, when we talk about the structure of our language, when we talk about the structure of an Asian language, the Asian language structure is normally a subject followed by a object and the verb at the last. This is what is the syntax, or when we call it as in linguistic language, we call it that as the structure in which the sentence is being built. Whereas English takes a uniform structure which follows the European language. When we talk about in European language, the European languages follows subject, verb, and an object. Because why I always stress any language, though I am teaching French, Spanish, and German, whenever I'm teaching that particular language, I clearly tell that this particular language belongs to a particular area, particular continent, and the structure of that particular language is a subject, a verb, and an object. Sometimes object can be a direct object or indirect object, or followed by an adjective where the direct object has been described. Why I'm telling that is, when we wanted to the structurize a sentence, take some simple words, put it that simple words in the form of a structure. The structure is conquered in English, we call it as, that is a subject, a verb, and an object. Then you can make it a complex sentences, literally in English, not in your mother tongue. Why? Because mother tongue follows the Asian languages in India, whereas the English follows the European structure, that is the concord of subject, verb, and an object. To begin with this, so any sentences in English follow the pattern of subject, verb, and an object. So there are the two techniques to think in English. Immediately when we tell think in English, the first training what we have to do is mind training. Not don't exercise your mind. See, I have given you a simple picture here. Red color denotes it is an exercise to your mind. Example, what is the exercise to your mind? That means you are by hearting certain things. When you're by hearting certain things, you are going to give the stress to the mind. Rather than that, you train your brain. That is in the second, in the right hand side, you can see the blue color. Blue color denotes there is a growth. Red color denotes there is a diminishing feature. So whenever you do any kind of mind training techniques, always allow the brain to train rather than by hearting or memorizing it. Because normally in the Indian scenario, the psychologist already gives the report telling that higher educations or the secondary school students normally by heart. By heart is 72%. The remaining only 28% do the critical thinking and analyzing the context. So when we talk about the 72% of the population are coming under exercising your mind by hearting the technique. So don't go for by hearting the technique, rather than that train your brain. So I'll also give some of the examples how to train your brain. Apart from this, the second technique is the daily habits for fluency. And when we talk about daily habits, that also these two things I'm going to discuss in detail about how to train your mind and what are the different daily habits. The mind training techniques. These are the 5 to 6 techniques which I have come across. So I have put down in the form of bullets. Anyway, if required, I will share this presentation after the session is over to the organizer. So first is immerse yourself, surround yourself with English by changing your phone settings, watching movies with English subtitles, listening to the podcast, reading the book. See, what happens normally is the first part is phone setting. Now, there are different kinds of mobile users because now technology savvy or technical savvy world, everybody knows English. But when they know English, those who are educated will go for English. Those who are not educated, those who are, I don't call them as uh, illiterate, because I am just calling as not educated. Here, why I'm not using not educated? They are not educated to English. They might be educated in their regional language. When you take a particular person's or an individual phone, you can see their own regional language. Rather than that, tell them to acquaint to the English language and watch the movies in English. Even if you watch the movies in regional language, certain regional language terms may not be that fluent according to the communication skills. Why? Because the present generation, they know English 60%, 40% they know the regional language. But older generations, they know 80 to 90% regional language and only 10% of the English language. Why I'm telling that generation gap is the present generation are more knowing the English words only to a certain extent of 60%, and they know only regional language only 40%. Sometimes even the 40% of the language input which they give, they are not able to translate that to the English. So don't try to translate it rather than bringing the English words to the presentation. So that is what you have to immerse yourself in the particular language. The second is self-talking and narration. Here, self-talking, when we talk about, I always tell the students or the graduates who have been passing out, if you are feeling nervousness or you're not able to talk comfortably, then go to a room where you have a mirror, stand in front of the mirror and try practicing it. Why I'm telling try practicing it? The way in which your actions, the way in which your body language, the thoughts, everything is should be expressed orally, not through body language. So body language also plays an important role, but when you talk that the expression in the form of a oral language, that the expressions and feelings can be expressed in English. So why I'm telling that self-talk and narration is very important. Practice describing your daily actions and thoughts and feelings only in English, even in the private. Example, now when you get up early in the morning, when you're brushing your teeth, you should not think that what is the meaning of brushing in my native language? What is the teeth? What is the teeth to be called in my regional language? What am the activity out on? So don't think that. Whatever you're going to think that you're doing some kind of activity. Can I construct a simple words? Can I put these simple words into the complex? Example, when you're brushing your teeth, I am brushing my teeth. Example, if you're brushing your own teeth, you'll tell that I am brushing my teeth. Instead of that, if you are an elderly person and you're guiding somebody else, in that case, if you're telling that I am brushing my son's teeth, I am brushing my children. I have teeth. I am brushing my daughter's teeth. Why I'm telling this kind of information is when you're telling this, there are some new words which incorporate in a particular same sentence where the subject and the object changes, then the language keeps expanding it. Okay. The third one is visualization. When you talk about visualization, here, visualization plays an important role specifically from the age group of 7 to 18 because many of the visualization activities takes place only in this age group. That is the reason visualization plays an important role, especially with reference to creating a mental image of the English words and scenario instead of translating them. Imagine yourself like you are going to your restaurant and ordering something. So when you are going to a restaurant ordering something, you'll be talking to the waiter in a English language. So when you're trying to order something in English, you try to put the simple sentences and join that. If not, you visualize the age group between 7 to 17, where a student is being entering into the classroom. Immediately after entering to the classroom, either you now the technology is improved, either you will have a pen marker or a chalk piece. So what is chalk piece? Don't try to translate that in your regional language. Rather than that, what is a chalk? Chalk means a white, a particular solid which is broken it into pieces, that is used as a teaching aid. So try to visualize that. When you visualize critically by implementing the mental images of the different English words. Now example, a book. The moment when you tell a book means something which is bound, either it is in the larger size or the smaller size. Then again, when we talk about a book is further classified into, is it a practical notebook? Is it a theory notebook? Is it a textbook? When we tell textbook means, oh, something which has been pre-printed already. Some information is already there. An empty notebook. When you tell an empty notebook, the notebook which does not have anything, so that you can write something. When we talk about a student notebook, the same book I'm telling in the different versions. When you talk about a student notebook, either the notebook will be a ruled notebook or it will be a plain notebook. So try to visualize. When you visualize it, please visualize that particular image in that English language so that it will be helpful for you to think in English better. The next is word association. When we talk about the word association, because we normally think in three aspects when we think in English, you try to go speak only English and try to express whatever you're going to express, try to express by connecting some words. Here, connecting some words. When we talk about the words can be an acronym or it can be a word itself. The word can contain a 4 letters or it can contain a 10 letters. So English language comprises between the 4 letter word to a 10 letter word. So let us see how the word association goes with. Connect new words with their meanings directly through the images or context rather than translating from your native language. I would like to stress on the second part of the sentence, which clearly tells that rather than translating from your own native language, try to see that word, try to see the context. When you see the context, you try to build the words. When you tell build the words, those words which may use frequently been used, but not at all been used, or occasionally you use these words. So first we need to classify the words. Now, example, in the later part of the slide, I have given what is an acronym or how an acronym is used in the sentence. Now, example, when we talk about food, food is now in the English is normally written as, 2 languages. When you talk about a literature language, FOOD, and same FUD, both are considered to be food. The Gen Z generation and our generation, the same food is being used, but when we use the visualization of the material which we use, food is very, very important, because that can completely connect it through the word association, where the words can be taken from either the 4 letter words or 10 letter words, but try to put or join those letters so that you don't you frame a simple sentence to a complex sentence. Use only English. Why I'm telling use only English? Even if your English is bad at an initial stage, if you use English, you can explore more words in the English. When learning a vocabulary, use English to English dictionary. I always tell people to go for a dictionary or thesaurus. Dictionary means a one word will have one meaning. A thesaurus is one word will have a multiple meaning, and the usage on what context you can use that. So use English only, especially you train your brain, not by heart. When we tell a notebook is a long notebook or a small note. We should be able to tell, when I see a notebook, we have to open the notebook. If it is a plain notebook, you call that as a plain notebook. If it is a ruled notebook, you call that as a ruled notebook, or sometimes people call lined notebook or ruled notebook. So let us clarify that either it is a lined notebook or a ruled notebook. And a book, when we talk about, is it a printed book? If it is a printed book, we call it as a textbook. If it is a books with something which you refer always for a particular course of delivery, then we call that as a reference book or a textbook. Yeah? That kind of books have to be emphasized. When you emphasize a book, take only the unilingual, or we call it as English to English dictionary, then the English frequency can be enhanced. Next is they start small and build up. Begin with a simple sentence or a single word in English. Gradually combine them to a longer or more complex sentence by using your thoughts. Why I'm telling that is, I drink. What I drink? I drink coffee. What else I can drink? I can drink coffee, I can drink tea, I can drink any beverage, I can drink alcoholic beverage, I can drink non-alcoholic beverages, I can drink fermented beverages, I can drink fresh juices. So when I tell this simple sentence, collection of the words, when we collect the words, the structure of the language is very clear in English. The structure of the language is a subject should follow the verb should follow the object. Now, when we talk about this particular simple sentence, I drink. What is that? I drink coffee. A subject, verb, and an object. Then when I what type of a coffee? Maybe I don't know the type of a coffee, but when I see the coffee is brown in color or coffee is black in color. When I tell coffee is black in color or brown in color, then immediately the sentence will change. I drink coffee either strong or light. That is usage of another adjective, which tells the quality of the coffee. The next is, I drink coffee with milk, with sugar, without milk, without sugar. So a simple sentence, a subject, verb, and an object becomes a complicated when it goes as a subject, a verb, and an object, direct object, indirect object, the description of an object, description of an adjective, what kind of an adjective we are using in that particular sentence. So why I'm telling that is, your mind should be training in such a way that start small, build up. Your same subject. Yes, when English we call it a subject pronoun, because always I cannot tell Devendra, Devendra, Devendra. I tell I. I. When we tell I, it becomes a pronoun. So subject pronoun is being always used. That subject pronoun should be used in the form of a subject, object, subject, verb, and an object. So if anybody who knows the language of the basic elementary level, always a sentence starts with the subject and ends with an object. Either the object is a direct object or an indirect object, but that quality of an indirect object makes a simple sentence into a longer sentence. So this simple sentence into a longer sentence, one has to give emphasis on the structural part of the sentence and what part of the sentence you're going to describe. That is very, very important. So these are few mind training techniques. Now let us see what is the benefit of a mind training. Why I'm telling the benefit of a mind training is always when the mind training rather than by hearting. I will call this in simple language. People keep by hearting. You should not by heart. Now, example, if I ask in the how many people have assembled here, I don't know. If I ask the whole crowd, do you know your telephone number? Immediately the answer will be tuck 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 tuck. You will tell either in the 2 series or 3 series or 1111. You'll tell the 10 numbers. The same thing, if I ask, can you tell your friend's number? Maybe one or two friends' number you will know, but the entire telephone which you are having, you may not know it. So why I'm telling that is because you're trying to by heart that. Rather than that, you do the training. When you do the training part of it, I'll give one example after this presentation how that mind can be trained to increase the memory. Example, see, first component is benefit of a mind training is this: it improves the memory. Engage in brain task like puzzle or poetry increases both the long-term memory and short-term memory. Why I'm telling that is puzzles are for short-term memory and poetry is for long-term memory. Those who are teaching English as language and literature or English as a language, this poetry plays an important role because poetry contains poetic devices or rhetoric devices, emphasizes on poet, where the long-term memory can. Example, if you visualize something on the tree, I'm visualizing something on the tree, and in that something in the tree is green in color, and the green in color is so peaceful, and the sound generated by the green in color is so melodious that we can always listen. Immediately, when you visualize that, you will tell that, oh, the green color means parrot. Immediately, you're striking. When you're striking that, when did you see this tree? When did you see the parrot? Immediately the recollection of the thoughts in the form of the words in the form of the sentences which in the form of a paragraph. That's how the memory is increased in the main training. The second one is increased concentration. Here, when we talk about increased concentration, the regular brain training enhances and focuses to maintain a strong concentration skill. Here, when we talk about strong concentration skill, one simple example I'll give you. Now, if I ask you to think so much, and for every thought you have to pay one rupee, and by the end of the session, you're thinking around 1,200 thoughts. Now, 1,200 thoughts need to be paid of 1,200 rupees, then you will never even think. Why I'm bringing that thinking with reference to concentration is think a particular thought, that thought get into the deeper aspect of that particular thought, then you will enhance your concentration skill. The third aspect of the benefit of training is problem solving. When we tell solving, the practicing logic and strategic games, because normally we do only the games. Either we will do the simple games or fun games or English puzzled games, but we don't go for logical as well as strategic games, strengthening the critical thinking. Here, when we talk about the critical thinking, the word itself tells that thinking based on a particular condition. When we talk about a condition, what is that condition? The condition is to train your mind, not to exercise your mind. 1 plus 1 is what? 2. 2 plus 2 is what? 4. So here the critical thinking happens. What the condition based? What is the condition? Condition is mathematics, addition. Addition is 2 plus 2 is 4. Why we can tell? So, some people will tell 2 plus 2 is 22. That is 2 written next to the 2 is 22, or 2 plus 2 is 4. So from one person's view, 2 plus 2 is 4. The other person view, the 2 comma 2 is 22, or a set of two numbers put together is 2 and 2. So why I'm telling that is the thinking which is based on critical, that is known as critical thinking. When you're talking about the logical and the strategical games. Now, when we talk about the logical games, 1, 5, then next is 25, the next is 625, When I tell about this series, when I tell this series, that means logically I'm telling something. What is that logic? You need to critically analyze. You have to apply a condition. When you apply the condition, you need to think and then you try to solve your problem. So the benefits of mind training is very important. Mind training is very important. Don't keep your negative thoughts in the mind, because normally people keep negative thoughts. That negative thoughts will diminish your positive attitudes, not the positive thoughts, positive attitudes. Whatever is there, your negative thoughts will completely remove. So these are the three major points of mind training. Now let us see the daily habits. What are the daily habits which can increase your fluency? The morning routine. Start your day by waking up yourself in the mind with simple English thought. What I am doing now? I am getting down from the bed. I am getting down from the bed. When I'm telling I am getting down from the bed, am I okay? Which side of the bed I am getting down? Example, if you are on the right hand side, if you are on the left hand side, if there is an entry on the right hand side, you will try to get down on the right hand side. If there is an entry on the left hand side, you will try to get down at the left hand side. Why I'm telling that is your feeling should visualize the complete environment. Based on that complete environment, you are going to express, yes, this is what is going to happen to me, this is what is going to happen to me, like that. So use dead time, because as an Indians, the psychologist has clearly mentioned that our usage of our brain, how much percentage of our brain is being used normally for any kind of a process, is only 2 to 5%. If we use our brain for 50% or 90%, entire Indians can become a scientist. But we are not using that, because generally a psychology report tells that the students think only 1% and teacher thinks only 2 to 5%. Nobody thinks or beyond 5%. If your thinking goes beyond 5%, that means entire 24 hours you will be utilizing your mind to the thought process or the thinking process. That's the reason I mentioned here dead time. Here, when we talk about dead time, that is you're doing some particular activity. When you're traveling in a train, you just sit, and in the dead time you will do dead activity. Why I'm telling dead time, you are going to do the dead activity means, example, now if you're going in a metro, if you're going in a metro, immediately you take your phone, you snap, check your phone, Instagram, reel, YouTubes. That is not, which is very useful for the present generation, but still they feel that they're getting some kind of information. I am going to tell that the information which you're going to get may be in a region English language or a regional languages. So use a small pocket of your time, like commuting, to name the objects around you in the English, or create simple phrases. Now, when you get inside the metro, you can see nowadays metro, even the announcement has been made in the English and the regional languages. So concentrate on English, what kind of sentences are being used, because these are the dead times. Make it your dead time as lively activity rather than dead time as dead activity. The third point is journaling. When you talk about journaling, write in English about your day. Example, morning you have done some kind of activity. Try to write that activity in the form of a structure of a sentence, like subject, verb, and an object. Try to write 4 to 5 sentences and rearrange these sentences, which activity was first and which activity was next. So why I'm telling that is so that your brain can train yourself that whatever the activities you have done, your thoughts, your plans, your feelings, all these can be connected in the form of a language, and the language which you are going to think and use should be only in the English. The next is daily habits for your fluency is language exchange. Engage with English speakers through language exchange partners or conversation groups to practice them in real time. Normally, when we talk about the language, now people are telling that regional medium is very important. NEP speaks about the regional medium. Even NEP speaks about the regional medium, your placement or communication skills should also be in bilingual, that is both in the English as well as in the regional language. So what are the benefits, what are the tips or benefits to increase your daily habits for your fluency? Describe your day loud. After a movie, TV, podcast, article, describe it. Example, now you're sitting and watching a serial, TV serial, or sitting and watching a movie for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, can you do some construction sentence in English, so that whatever you've seen in 30 minutes, can you bring it in the form of 3 sentences or 5 sentences, which will enhance the thinking as well as vocabulary skills? Talk through the recent discussion. What happened in the morning? What we were doing? in the morning, what I'm going to do next morning. What I am going to do now is present tense. What I did in the morning becomes a past tense. So past tense, you put it in the mind thinking in the past sentence, what can be created. Now describe the each assignment loud. Whatever you're going to do. Example, I'm going to buy some rice from a grocery shop or a store. So based on in the grocery shop or this storeroom, whatever I'm going to do, try to build that in the form of a sentence. Here I am telling building in the form of the sentence. Either you visualize in the mind or write it down in the piece of a paper. And you write it down in the piece of a paper, let it be in the form of a subject, verb, and an object. Sit, analyze it, have two, three, four thoughts, two, three reviews, then you will get more sentences. Having English speaking days or times at home, there are so many measures for environmental conservation, like no car day, no bike day. On that particular day, you will not use that thing. So like that in English also, what you can do is today, Wednesday, every Wednesday, I'm going to speak only English. Every Thursdays, I'm going to speak only my regional language. Every Friday, I'm going to use some other foreign language. Why I'm telling that is so that your mind is alert and keeps thinking that I can speak only that particular language. So that language fluency will enhance us. Use people for the practice. Sometimes what happens, even if you speak alone, the sentence constructions may be very difficult. But if you find a partner or if you find somebody else who can speak English with you, though the level of the English is different, the barrier, whatever is there, that can be removed. Try to speak with friends, try to speak with peers, try to speak with colleagues, try to speak with superiors, supervisors, etc. Your silent voice too. This I would like to stress on silent voice. When I tell about the silent voice, if you spend some time on the public transport, imagine you're speaking out loud and try to visualize in the mind, because we call this as silent speaking. In the language skills, we have listening, speaking, reading, writing. All these four skills have classified into two categories. One is silent, other one is loud. So think that you're doing this activity in a silent and your mind is loud in nature. So in that case, you can try to construct and build the sentences. These are the basic tips for the daily habits for fluency. The next is the tips to think in English. When you wanted to tell what are the tips, sir, how I can improve my thinking skills. I know English, I write better, but I don't know how to speak or I don't know how to put it. So follow these four basic practices. The four basic tips are: eliminate translation. Immediately when you eliminate the translation, you don't have any other choice. You only try to speak English. Think directly in English, bypasses the need of the translation. When you slow down your thinking, your awkward phrasing will be completely removed. Why I'm telling that is, when you speak a particular language, you will borrow the English, you will borrow your original languages and construct once a particular sentence. That whole particular sentence, 80% will be emphasis on English and 20% will have the mother tongue influence. So try to remove that mother tongue influence and concentrate only on the thinking English, speaking English, and avoid the translation part. Because whenever I tell don't equate, sometimes translation becomes very difficult. Word to word translation is very important. Transliteration is very, very important as compared to that type of translation, because many people are not aware about translation or transliteration. So in English, when you are going to think, please avoid transliteration as well as translation. Both should be completely avoided. The next is enhance vocabulary. When we talk about vocabulary, actively recalling and using the English word in the context strengthens your vocabulary and helps to express yourself more precisely. That means there are certain policies that in many institutions, in many public organizations, if they don't know the English language, what they do is daily they write a particular word and express the meaning of that word. And when they express the meaning of the word, they'll also give one example. So like that, why don't you build up a vocabulary chart? Vocabulary chart, not by writing it, vocabulary chart by mind mapping it. That this is the vocabulary for this thing. Example for food, milk, food, drink, food, curd, food. So use that one as a base, okay, so that the vocabulary list can be prepared out of that. The next is boost confidence. By building an English thinking mindset, you can speak more confidently and reduce the hesitations in the conversations. So many people have the thinking that, hello, how are you? After that, the third sentence will not come. Why? Because these are the two typical sentences which has been memorized. Because which is be your mind is being memorized that. So don't go for memorizing. You tell your mind to think multiple and thoughts. Let the thoughts keep going in terms of connecting the language. And language should connect in terms of expressing in the form of a sentence. So you boost your confidence that yes, I can speak third sentence. Let me see what is the third sentence I'm going to speak. Let me see what is the fourth sentence which I'm going to speak. So that sentence connectivity should end up in terms of a paragraph. Now, example, if I ask you to introduce yourself, the first question will be, sir, in how many lines I have to introduce myself? Any student, anybody, if I ask you to introduce, you'll tell, sir, how many lines I have to introduce? 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines, or one line is sufficient? Or I am not comfortable with more than 2 lines, then that thought should minimize. I'm not telling to completely eliminate. It is difficult to eliminate. Slowly, it takes time. So confidence of one's level is very, very important when you're thinking in English. The next is improve overall skill. This practice not only improves the speaking fluency, but also enhances the four skills, that is reading, listening, writing, etc. Why I'm telling that is improve on four aspects. LSRW. If there are any English teachers, they'll be knowing it. LSRW means listening, speaking, reading, writing. So give emphasize, equally emphasize 25% for listening, 25% for speaking, 25% for reading, 25% for writing. When you equate this formula, then definitely your thinking skills will automatically improve. These thinking skills will give vocabulary building skills in the form of constructing a simple sentences or in the form of constructing a complex sentences. So this, what are the different, I have given few visuals. Please, if you need, you can take a screenshot also. How to train your brain. The training of the brain is very, very important. First is read every day. When you read everyday English, automatically your thinking will increase in English. Write down the ideas. When you're reading a small particular paragraph, what is that which you have got idea? Which we call it as mind mapping technique when you're writing down the ideas. And regularly exercise. Here, exercise, when we talk about not only physical exercise, even mental exercise. Here, mental exercise is use of the English language. And stick to your routine. What is that? Stick to your routine. What all things which I am doing, all those things, please think it in English and put that in the form of the sentence. Remove distractions. Here, when I tell remove the distractions, if unnecessary things are keeping in your mind to think, remove that. That thoughts will depress, or that thoughts will suppress the positive sentences which you're going to generate it. The next is keep a journal. When we talk about journal, what all the activities you're doing, kindly record those activities. If you can't record it in the form of a sentence, at least you record it in the form of a bullet points. Those bullet points will visualize your mind thinking. The next is mediate. When we talk about, sorry, meditate. When we talk about meditate, it literally means I'm going to learn English. I'm going to learn English. Example, now there are tongue twisters. If I tell one tongue twisters, you will be thinking how this tongue twister came into the picture. Bitty bought bit of butter, the bit of butter was bitter bitter. So Bitty bought bit of butter to make the bitter butter better butter. So when I'm telling that one, the thoughts, the thoughts should visualize that Bitty is a person who brought some butter. So that some butter was bitter. So he went again to make the bitter butter better butter. So when you visualize it, that visualization of the thoughts makes English a simple one. Because when I tell this bit about bit of butter in the first stretch, people will think how this man is telling. It's not. You are also a human being. I am also a human being. The way in which you visualize the thought will lead to the sentences. That sentence will lead to the paragraph. Okay, that is, meditate is very important. Get out of your comfort zone. Here, get out of your comfort zone means, oh, me and my friend will speak English. I cannot speak English with others. That kind of a comfortness, if you develop, definitely you will not be able to speak or think in English because your thinking is restricted. Your thinking does not go beyond that. So try to ensure that you come out of your comfort zone, speak to a third person at least once in a month or twice in a month, so that when you speak to third person who doesn't know you, then there can be a situation which goes positive, which goes negative. If it is a positive, please apprehend yourself and that you're learning something. If it is a negative, try to overcome what is that mistake which you have done. We can overcome those mistakes. So this is how you have to train your brain. I always tell, please don't memorize. You train your brain, automatically that brain will have some kind of a memory space which it can store things in your brain. That storage will reproduce it. The next is how to stop overthinking. Here, when we talk about overthinking, what will happen if I'm going to talk, something is going to be wrong, and somebody will be fooling around me or telling wrong things you're doing. So, be aware of your overall. Focus on what you can control. Practice mindfulness. Your mind, what is the meaning of a mindfulness? Here, I'm going to tell that mindfulness means your thoughts should be positive. Positive thought can lead to positive attitude. Positive attitude can lead to positive character. Positive character can lead to positive way of living. Even if 1% negative thoughts are there, 99% of the positive thoughts can be corrupted. Like a milk is being curdled with one drop of a lemon or lime. The entire milk gets disturbed. The same way, you have to think your thoughts. Don't keep a negative thoughts. Your negative thoughts, keep it away. Only your positive thoughts should be there. That is what the meaning of challenge negative thoughts. Sometime limits for sometimes what happens, you can't limit your thoughts. You keep thinking negative. So what happens that is calm down. When you are having a negative thoughts, please go down, meditate or relax or sleep. Your all negative thoughts will come out. And when you get up, you get a freshness. That freshness will make you to think positive. That's what I always tell. Don't think beyond. You think beyond only when your thoughts are positive. Okay. Here it is limit information intake, take action, practice gratitude. Here, practice gratitude when we talk about even if somebody tells something either correct or wrong. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your advice. Whether you take it or not, that we will see later because your acceptance to the situation is very important rather than acknowledging the acceptance. Because always I tell, if somebody asks a question to my teachers also I tell, or please, as a teacher in the present generation, if student tells something, please don't react to the student, respond to the student. There is a difference between reaction and respond. Reaction, what happens, you don't think, you speak abruptly. When you respond to the situation, you think. When you think, you build some sentences. When you build some sentences, you will give some solution. That solution is not the same solution which you get through your reaction. So always for the teachers or the students, whatever is the given situation, don't react, please respond it. Because reaction is immediate, response is thinking it in English. If it is an English school, English college, thinking it in English and then try to respond that. So these are the few things how to stop your overthinking. The next one is ego. Ego is a very common. How many people agree ego is an acronym or ego is a word? I don't know whether there is an option to respond for the participants. Ego is a word or ego is an acronym?
Yes, you can unmute and share your thoughts.
Anybody would like to go for this answer for this question? Ego is a word or ego is an acronym?
I think it is an acronym.
Yeah, it is an acronym. It's an acronym. It's a beautiful answer. Why I'm telling it's a beautiful answer? Because ego is feministic in nature. Why? Because ego stands for, acronym is there should be an expansion. So ego stands for emotionally greedy on others. Like that, in English, I have written around 900 words. When it comes to 1,000, I'll publish 1,000 acronyms in English. So I'm trying to collect that on my daily routine life, situation based. I'm trying to get that. So why I'm telling it's emotionally greedy on others. When they are emotionally greedy on others, that ego follows you. Don't go for ego. Have your higher self. Come down. Be down to earth person because always even the people who are uneducated are down to earth. Not that you have to be uneducated. Even your education should speak what kind of a background you are having. That is what is very important because nowadays I'm teachers I'm seeing Though I have done my more than 30 masters, as ma'am introduced in the beginning of the session, like so much I have been studied and so much experience. Experience makes man perfect, not that your master degree. So I believe in that one. So that's the reason always people tell that you need to take an experienced teacher. I said, no, you provide a platform for experience, let them learn that experience. That learning the experience will categorize whether the human being is having an ego or he is having down to earth person. So based on that, we can judge a particular person. So always please be down to earth. Even if it is 1 degree, the knowledge what you have scored, knowledge what you have gained, it's not first class, second class. The knowledge what you have gained, what is that you're going to put it in practice? What is that you're going to apply in your life? That is very important. That makes a person down to earth rather than emotionally greedy on others. That's what I would, which talks about this, like, and have your mindset abundance. I'll tell abundance mindset. When you talk about abundance mindset means if your capacity of receiving some knowledge is 10%, your listening skill should be 90%. I'm telling you very clearly the knowledge what you're receiving. Yes, I know English. What is there? That why I should attend this kind of a workshop? Why I should listen to somebody else? I already know English. What is there wrong in my English? My wrong is very good. मेरा English तो अच्छा है. क्यों English सिखाना है? Suddenly from the language to English language to the regional language, it jumps people. So have an abundance mindset that let your mind be open to receive the new thoughts, new energy, so that new thoughts, new energy will make you a perfect man, and that perfect man thinking will always be in English rather than any other language. So the next slide is be an introvert, don't be an extrovert. I always tell people
Sorry,
that
sir, I'm interrupting you.
yes,
Uzma ma'am has written that can you repeat those lines? Which lines you are talking about? Sir, can you please repeat those
which
lines?
which one?
Please unmute and say which lines you want.
Because I'm not seeing the chat here, that's why I'm just
Let
speaking.
me. Abundance. Okay,
Ab-
regarding abundance, whatever.
Abundance mindset means your mindset should be open. Now, example, you keep a flower pot, mud is there. That mud, if you put the seeds, you need to flower it. When you flower it, the process is you have to water it and then you have to take a flower out of it. And when you like a flower, you pick the flower. And when you love a flower, you allow it to grow. So that grow of mindset is very very important to think in English. That's what the meaning of abundance mindset means. Open, receiving, to receive whatever others tell, because sometimes you will have closed mindset. Whatever somebody tells, and finally they will tell, no, 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 no. Why I have to listen to him? He is telling his view. I have my own view. Instead of that, take his view, interpret it, mix with your view, and come out with a new view. That is known as an holistic approach. So that comes under the abundance mindset. Rather, it's an opposite of cold, closed mindset. Can I move further?
Yes.
Oh. So always be an introvert, not an extrovert, because always I'm two things I always tell. Analyze introvert and extrovert. Analyze sympathy, analyze empathy. Because people will think always tell that you should be sympathy. Don't think always sympathy. Think empathy also. Compare introvert, extrovert, sympathy, empathy. Here introvert is again an acronym. Like this, there are so many acronyms in English. You start thinking in English, then you will find a word for the English. Okay. So introvert, this is a small expansion. You can just see in this also, what is that a human tendency in thinking a language is you should be observant in nature. When we tell observant in nature, it is exactly at the center part of the word. How many letters are there introvert? Introvert, there are 9 letters. That O is observant. When you're observing yourself, it becomes introvert. When you're observing somebody else, it becomes extrovert. So why I'm telling that is your observant language will lead to language thinking in English. That language thinking can put you the situations in simple manner. So always be introvert, not an extrovert. And always have an empathy on people rather than sympathy, because always people tell have sympathy. You should not have sympathy. Example, if my student is coming and telling that, sir, I have this kind of a problem, I am not able to express this in English. What is it? Okay, come down to their level. What is that? Think from a student point of view. What is that he cannot express? Try to give some hints. Try to give some answers. Let that answers make him very simple, and his empathy is being addressed so that he come out with a thinking of a sentence, or he can speak it in a better manner. So that is what is very, very important. I would like to stress on this particular slide on the character or the element observant, and your minds are observing. Though your minds are not speaking, I always tell minds keeps observing. Now also you are watching the slide. If you are watching the slide, you will either switch on your camera or switch off your camera. If you're switching on, you are observing in nature. If you switch off, then also you are observing in nature. What people will be thinking when I switch off the camera? What is that visualization? What image is coming there? That image should be very beautiful. That kind of a thinking arises. That kind of a thinking arises when you're observant in nature, either yourself or by others. Like we have sympathy, empathy, introvert, extrovert. So that is very, very important. So to conclude, to think in English, one must always consistently immerse yourself in the language by speaking, reading, and consuming English media every day. Here, the media of English is what? Always I tell that to the students, take a piece of newspaper. So once I told a student to take a piece of a newspaper, what he did, a student, he took a paper, he cut it into piece, and then he brought it. Okay. And even though he cut it into that newspaper into a pot, bought a piece of paper, I said, read this piece of paper, what is written. When you read that piece of paper, certain kind of a knowledge which you imbibe also makes you to think in English. That is very, very important. So when I told a piece of paper, literally the students made a newspaper into piece, and then they brought. The effect here is English media is very important. Gradually, also, I emphasize always on, if you speak in any particular language, gradually the shift of your brain should be that it should be without translating from your native language. Don't translate from your native language, because the native language structure is totally different from that of an English. I told in the beginning itself, the structure of a native language is varying from an structure of an Indian or the English language. Why? Because subject, verb, object, subject or object and verb. Example, I take bath. मैं नहा रहा हूँ. Like that, activity is totally different. Okay, that is what I would like to tell without translating from the native language. The next is focus on daily practice and active engagement. When I tell focus on daily practice and active engagement, like describing your situation, surroundings, and speaking yourself, try to build and naturally recall the confidence, ultimately leading to the fluency. Now, example, simple exercise. When I tell simple exercise, how to practice a simple exercise, that is puzzles, logic games. I will tell you, if somebody can tell your telephone number. Can anybody tell your telephone number? Not to record. I will not record anywhere. Don't worry. My camera is on. I will not record anywhere. You just tell your mobile number. Can anybody tell the mobile number?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
9912
One second. 9912
10
10
3032
3032. So here, how many times the double digit has come? Double nine and
Double nine.
double nine and double three. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, double three has come, correct?
Yes,
And
sir.
there are double zero also.
Yes, sir.
Double
Double zero,
two also.
double three.
So your telephone number involves double nine, double three, double zero, double two. So your telephone number is, this is mind mapping technique. I'm telling you how to teach mind mapping technique for the students. 9912103032 is your phone number.
Yes, sir.
Am I wrong?
No, sir.
No, okay. So how many times your all the digits are repeated? All the digits are repeated. Your 5 numbers are repeated twice.
That.
That is the analysis what I made from your telephone number. Why I'm telling that is I am thinking your numbers in English. 9910
12
103032. Double nine two times, double one two times, double two two times, Uh,
Zero
0 two times, 3,
three
and the 3
three
two
times.
times. So I have to remember only 5 numbers. Analysis. I'm telling analysis, not memory. So
Yes.
when you do that thinking, I'm going to think your number as 0, 1, 2, 3, 9, 9. That is what is Tasin's number. Understood?
Yes, sir.
This is an example for your mind mapping techniques, because we always tell how to increase our memory technique by these kinds of practices and examples. So if there is any question, I would like to conclude. Emphasis more on daily practice and active engagement of language. Language here is English, and try to recall the situations only in the English. Don't translate from your mother tongue. Thank you, one and all, for your patient listening virtually. I don't know how many would have got benefited or how many would have got disturbed. So I have done my duty to the fullest extent. I think exactly 1 hour I spoke, 60 minutes I have spoken. So let the remaining 30 minutes be an interactive session or doubt clearing sessions. We call it normally as Q&A session. I don't call it as a Q&A session. Why? Because your thoughts you are expressing and I am interpreting your thought. It is not a question, it is not an answer. So let us welcome everybody with whatever the thoughts and your queries you have regarding my small session. It's a small session because normally I take workshops on memory building, memory learnings, mind training, and how to build an acronym, etc.
I will
Over.
gradually invite you, sir, for
Uh,
all those session on the PROLEARNZ platform.
sure, madam. No problem. Whatever knowledge I have, definitely I'll share it because knowledge has to be shared. If not, it is not at all useful. Like I tell to the students that if there is a milk in the cow, it serves the community. If there is a milk in a dog, it serves only puppy. So you should not be a puppy. We should serve the community. The community serving is known as knowledge delivery. With this, I conclude my presentation. Anybody else can give their own views. I have stopped my presentation also.
Yes, now it is the open forum. So, any query, anything, any feedback, anything you want to ask, or you can share your experience in learning English, or you can ask, sir, anything. It's open forum now.
Thinking and speaking, these two things is very important in English because the what you think in English, that only you're supposed to speak. Because you're thinking in English and speaking in Hindi, or thinking in Hindi and speaking in English makes the situation worst.
Many students, I think, have joined today. So, do you have any question? Sir is here, so you can clarify.
I think now I'm seeing the chats where many people are telling abundance. Thank you. Hussein Akhtar, Sina Akhtar. And I think everybody is thanking. No, thanks will be there always. Example now, when you go to a beach, we don't go to beach to leave the footprint. But when you walk in the beach, the footprint comes automatically. So thank you is followed by any sessions. But only thing is, if you what is that you have doubt or what is that you have learned, that you can tell it. Because normally when people tell thank you, that means they are acknowledging the session. That's true. No problem. Session should be an interactive. I don't know whether I made it interactive or not. Exactly 1 hour I took, 60 minutes time I took because I started at 7:33. I finished at 8:33.
Somebody is wanting, who's there? Can you please share your name with iPhone? And that is why I have mentioned in the group that please join with your full name. Otherwise, it becomes difficult.
Nazia. Nazia, you're
Naz,
from which place?
I'm from Hyderabad.
Okay, good, good. Hyderabad, which locality? You're a teacher or a student?
Old city student.
Student. You're studying which course?
BCom, Bachelor's of Commerce.
Okay. Why I've asked
First
four,
year.
why I've asked four question is immediately you are thinking. You're thinking, I don't know whether you're thinking in English or not, but I got the response only in English. Thank you for thinking and responding in English. That is the purpose of the workshop.
yes. Yes.
Uh,
Anything you want to ask, as because students have joined, that is why I am again and again telling you can ask, sir, anything that comes to
Anything
your mind.
related to the English language or any queries whichever is been. Any tips you would like to give to learn English language like a game? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. What type of a game? You want a numerous game, or logical game, or systematic grammar game? Because English I teach. I have specialized in phonetics. Phonetics means the sound language. So I also tell that logical and systematic. Okay, fine. So if that is a case, now example, I will give you logical and systematic. Take three letters or four letters in English. Is Uzma on the screen now? Is Uzma on the screen now? Yes, fine. So take four letters. Okay. Take any four letters of English. Write that four letters on the chat. Your favorite four letters. Your favorite four letters. Write it on the chat. How to encourage AIZN? Okay. AIZN. So she has given four letters. How many of them can form a word out of these four letters, or three letters, or two letters, or one letter? Zain, okay. Only one I can see. Immediately you can tell. Zain, that is same. Usma is written in, an, good. Nis, good. Niza, you can tell Niza. You can tell Niza, you can tell so because immediately I told four letters. No, so you know
Yes,
what happens?
yes,
The thinking takes place here. Now nobody is giving me three letters. Zia, Zia, Z-I-A, Zia. Zan, Z-A-N, Zan is also words. Why I'm telling you that thinking should arise in your mind. That should ignite your mind to think. Now take in five vowels. Take five vowels in English. Write the five vowels in English. Anybody can chat. How to encourage to speak people in English. How to speak or how to think. Question should be very specific. Why? Because here vowels are there. Okay. Now all the vowels are there. I would like to give one more thing is only vowels will not form a word. Only consonants will not form a word. When you wanted a word to be formed, you need to take the combination of vowel and consonant to get a word. So can anybody make a word out of vowel? It is not possible, I'm telling you. But still, I'm giving you a chance. Please make a word out of five vowels. It's not possible and you will not get a meaningful answer. But still, you try. Like that, you take any five consonants. You cannot make a word. This is the beautiful language of English, which comprises of audio. E is missing. You know, any word, because I have already done a workshop on this vowels and consonants workshop, how to pronounce it and how to make a words out of it. It is difficult. So when you take the combination of vowel and consonant, you can make a word out of it. L, you know, L is not a vowel. Only five words you have to use. You cannot use any other consonant. Now, when in this cauliflower is used with so many consonants and vowels. Are you getting the thinking part? I'm telling. I'm stressing on the thinking part. How you're supposed to think and the respond the situation. I always believe that don't react, respond. Because response is different, reaction is different. Reaction is, oh, it's very dirty. Response is, oh, you could have kept it cleaner. You know, that reaction and response, you know, in the same language has a huge impact on the other person. UEAIO. What is the meaning of it? It's not there. That word is not there. You have given the vowels, but it is doesn't have a meaning. Rhythm. Then it is not an English language. UEAUO is not a English language. So now somebody who gave the telephone number, now what is her name?
Tessin.
Who
It was
gave me the
Tessin.
Nazin is there on the line?
Tessin.
Tasin is there
Yeah.
online? Can you
Yeah,
switch on your
Tessin.
camera if you don't mind? Can you switch on your camera if you don't mind? Okay, Tasin. So what is your telephone number? 9912103032. Correct? This is the memory technique. If you're thinking, you have to think in that way.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Double
Yeah.
nine. My
Yes.
mobile number is 9912
Yes.
103032.
3032. Yes, fine. Good. See, this is one mind mapping technique which you need to teach your students, especially with the age group of 7 to 17 or 18, 10 years, because that is a very crucial stage to learn and grasp things faster than what we are learning. Okay, that's the reason I told to give a telephone number. Anyway, that now actually I have been teaching in the field for more than 28 years. I know all my students' telephone number. I don't search in the phone. I just dial in phone. Searching is different. Dialing is different. You know, when you search, your mind
Yes.
is silent. When you dial it, your mind starts thinking it.
One request is there, no? How to introduce ourselves in a unique way.
Okay. This introduction is everywhere. I get this question after English session, how to introduce formally. So introduction is normally done in two ways. Either you do it in a formal introduction or an informal introduction. And don't do the introduction using a gerund. Here, what is the meaning of a gerund is take any verb, put it in ing form. Read, reading. Study, studying. So when you use this, you don't use gerund form in introduction. Example, I am working as a professor. No, I work as a professor. Understood? And are you getting whoever has asked this question? I study. I study at a particular college. I study at a particular location because people tell that I am coming from Hyderabad. I am coming from Hyderabad is a wrong statement. I come from Hyderabad.
I come from heaven.
You are getting that unique introduction. So don't use here. I will not tell. Don't use coming. Rather than I will tell the technical part. Don't use gerund. Don't use the present continuous tense because the activity is complete. Okay. So use only the verb. Don't use ing form. That is unique method of introduction. First thing. The second thing is formal introduction. Always go for a subject pronoun in plural. In plural, like in Hindi we have no. Hindi, what is that subject we have plural? We don't call anybody as tu. We'll tell aap. You know, that respect is given. Okay. That respect is also there in English. Use the plural form so that automatically the respect comes into picture. Sir, you said you're a polyglot. How many languages do you speak and how did you learn them? Learning is my passion. Learning is my passion. And I am teaching French, Spanish, German, and I have studied Italian, Japanese, apart from English. And all the South Indian languages I know. And whenever I speak a particular language, people ask the first question, what is your mother tongue? Because I don't have any influence of mother tongue to the other tongue. That differentiation one should make it. And learning comes out of passion, but many students learn here out of pressure. Why people go to school? Because Papa ne bola hai, school jana hai. Not that I will go to school and learn something. Mommy told me that if you go to school, she will give me chocolate. So there is a reason behind it. Going to school, not for learning. If you passionately learn, you can learn any number of languages because in the entire globe, only Indians can learn more than 14 languages. That to an age group between 5 to 35 years. I have crossed 35, so I cannot learn any more languages. Is the people perception? No, I can still learn many languages provided you have a passion to learn it. So Indian tongue better than any other tongues in the globe. That's the reason Indians can speak multiple languages. Anyway, all the audience is from which background I don't know. If you can tell me at least in the chat, like you're from which place. Then I can see whether
Yeah.
the group is a heterogeneous group or an homogeneous group.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, sir, I'm
Mostly
from
from
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Mostly from
Yeah,
Hyderabad in this group.
yeah.
Okay, fine, fine.
Sir, I have a request. I'm
Yes.
Sumaya Siddiqa from Anulum College. So basically, I'm an English lecturer. Sir, I
Okay.
just want to know, could you please give some tips for the students to how to memorize in a short period of time?
Like what
Like
to memorize?
during exam time, students they come into stress. They come under
Okay.
pressure, and they just want to do the things like last moment when we have left for only few days for exam. Then students will start
No,
doing
is
active.
it a science language or English language?
English language, any like in general, if you say, because
No,
in college,
no,
like
no. Why
yeah,
I'm telling that is art subject has a different mind mapping technique and
not
science
if,
has
even if it is not maths, it
okay.
can be English literature, especially for literature. Also, they
Okay.
nowadays like they try
Okay.
to memorize it, but though the subject is so vast, it cannot be memorized.
No, why?
Basically, I'm also
What I suggest, the
yeah.
teacher who is teaching that English language should make
Mm.
literature very simple in the form of narrations.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I also teach literature. I always take lessons in the form of
yes,
storytelling, and
yes. Because
yeah, and
literature now, American literature is still different, British literature is different.
yeah.
Now, one beautiful example I would literature. Which literature you are specialized?
See, Indian writing as well as in American literature, it is depending on semester
Mm-hmm.
wise. What semester we introduce from introduction basic histories, then coming to Indian writings and novels, then American literature is also there included. So it is mixed.
Okay, okay. Now, why
Mm.
I'm telling that is self-expression and narration.
Uh,
Because if you have thought, I have thought one particular story that is Distractors. If you know the
mm.
essay of Distractors,
Okay.
that Distractors have a typically four characters. You have to explain these four characters in the form of a story and ask them to write the story in different view. When they tell different of view, here first person character, second person character, third person character, and fourth person character. How these four characters are uniting together, how these four characters are diverting. And what is the theme of the story is destruction. That means they're going to spoil something. So when they are uniting it, they have an idea to unite it. And in the uniting idea, they wanted to destroy a building. Whose building they are going to destroy, how they are going to destroy, what is the moral of the story. If you tell these things, no, that elaborations make literature very simple. Because now what traditionally what I have seen 20 years back or 30 years back, people used to take a book, literature book, and start reading line by line and underlining one or two words and telling their meaning. That passion has gone. Keep away your book. Take only the characters. Make the classrooms four characters. And after the end of the class, ask them to write these four characters whom the students are identified. They will write better than anybody else because they are learning by role play. English has to go through role play rather than narrating the past. Narrate it to the present. Bring the past to
Yes.
the present in learners. Then they will learn and definitely they will write one step better than the author because that
Yeah.
creativity is there in our child.
Yes.
This
That's
is one example which I would like to give. Yeah, and somebody else is there. Any resources you would
yeah.
recommend,
Social
and how
code. Like
long does it take a language? 1 second. I'm just reading the message.
yeah.
Any resources you would recommend, and how long does it take to learn a language from beginner to advanced level? Okay, which language you are talking about? Who is that?
That
Somebody,
is
Usma. Usma is asked this question. Who is Usma? Can I know what language you want to learn?
I think English. English,
English,
German,
German,
French.
and French. Okay. See, whenever you're learning this, whatever the language, English, German, and French, what you said, try to understand their origin. As I told, Asian languages, European languages, and other languages. All these comes under which category? First thing. Second thing is, what is the structure of the language? Okay. For knowing the structure of the language, you need to be master in one language. Here, master, I think you will be master of English as of now. As that's my perception. If you know English, then definitely use that subject, verb, and an object. That we call it in English as concord. So understand the analysis of a concord and its application in English, then definitely you can follow that in the case of German and French. Only thing is the number and gender varies in a language. Example, Hindi as a number and gender, German as a number and gender, French as a number and gender. But English is neutralized. It don't have a number and a gender. Though we tell he or she, we don't speak with reference to a particular object. Now, example, book. In English, book is book only. In French, book has a name that is masculine or feminine. In German, it can be masculine, feminine, or neutral. So here, I think so many of them will know A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. These are the 6 levels which has been accredited by Common European Frame Network, where European languages are being brought in that one. So when you want to learn a German for A1, every level at the A is for 6 months, B is for 1 year, C is for more than 1 year. This is what is a recommendation given by the European framework for learning the European languages. A1, A2, 1 year. B1, B2, 2 years. C1, C2, 4 years. So this is the different levels. Hope I have answered your question. Thank you. Thank you for your response. Anything else anybody want to ask?
Thank you so
Not
much,
only-
sir. It was really a wonderful session.
Thank
It
you.
was really a very wonderful session, sir. I'm very delighted that we joined here and we got an opportunity to listen.
This is just a tip of an iceberg. There are so many things to learn.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
If you go into deep,
Yes,
we will be
I
like,
will
it's
invite sir for many more sessions, actually,
yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
especially in English and mind training and
Yes. Mind training and memory. Like I say,
memory training. Yes,
somebody told that phone number. I will not forget that. I cannot forget because that's how I visualize the number. Correct. 0, 1, 2, 3, 9, 9. 0 2 times, 1 2 times, 3 2 times, 2 3 times, 2 times, and 9 2 times. Our number is 9912103032. Correct?
Exactly.
Whereas Tasin, I can see.
Tehseen Fatima, sir.
Yeah, can I see you? I am not able to see you. Hope
just
I have given. I hope I have
putting
given
on
that.
them.
No, hope I have given the tips to remember your mobile number to everybody. Okay, that's the simplest mind mapping or memory development technique.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for switching on the camera.
Thank you.
Your phone number, I have given you the beautiful technique to remember. I don't think so anybody would have told this technique. So like that, we have to visualize and analyze the entire language is like that.
Okay.
It becomes simple.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Welcome. Anything else anybody want to tell can tell. If not, we'll go for conclusion and then close the session.
Yes, and I will share the feedback form. Please mention in which other topics you want sessions in future because I will invite sir for many more sessions.
Sure, madam.
Actually.
You tell me well in advance so that I'll be because
Definitely.
this was like well in advance. So to be
And
frank, like these things, I came today at 6:30 to home. Then within half an hour, I prepared the slides. And then I thought, okay, 7:30. No, that's the reason I told I'll join sharp at 7:25. My slides got over exactly by 7:15, 7:20. Then I had a preview of my slides. Is this enough? I don't know the audience. So I thought if they want more, then we can speak more. If they want less, we can reduce it. In that way, neutralized PPT was being made. I think that will serve the purpose.
anything else you want to ask, sir? Otherwise, let us wind up for tonight. And thank you so much, sir, for devoting time for this platform.
Sure. Welcome, madam. Welcome. Any kind, how can we receive? I think madam has to answer this one.
Uh,
Certificate.
that I will share those who have registered. I will share the upload the certificate in WhatsApp group or share personally.
Sure, sure. Anybody else can who wanted to talk or give feedback can give.
Already you were receiving the feedback.
Okay, thank
I also learned a lot from this session.
Yes,
Till
sure.
when?
See, since there are many teachers, one workshop you can do it on how to build an effective resume. Because resumes I have seen so many
Yes,
people, because many people are not knowing how to build a resume. So
definitely. So we will put that session next of yours, and
sure,
then this mind mapping
sure.
and memory technique. I am also eager to learn all
Sure,
these
sure, sure. So
techniques.
that is the reason I take a live example. Now Tasin's phone number I know. How do I know? I don't know Tasin. I'm seeing her for the first time. She has given the number for first time. How do I know? That is mind training.
Yes. So let us wind up for tonight. Again, we will be coming up with many more such kind of workshops.
Sure, sure.
Thank you, sir, again
Thank you, madam.
for devoting
Thank you
your
for
time.
inviting and thank you for utilizing my services as a resource person.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely, yeah, definitely I'll give
As
my
because
own
many
ideas.
students have joined, that is the main purpose of ProLearns, to bring the students so that they can get benefited from our sessions. Because
Sure.
we regularly conduct various kinds of master classes. If you have noticed
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
I
Definitely.
invite people to conduct master classes, basically I want the students to get benefited.
No,
Uh,
definitely if my session is useful, they will definitely ask in person. They might ask you telling that please call that particular resource person once again.
Already they have placed the request
Okay,
there in the
okay,
chat. So
okay.
definitely we will have your session very
Sure,
soon.
sure. Welcome. You
Yes,
can just conclude the session. I think many are waiting.
yes. So let us conclude for tonight, and I will share everything, all other